Hey guys, this week in the Spoiler Zone, I'm covering one specifically terrific movie. It's so terrible, it's almost fantastically bad that if you somehow could watch it without paying any dead presidents, you may just actually enjoy it. It's called Dream House. Stick around, you just might learn something. Now, Dream House is an epic fail on all fronts. First of all, the trailer is showcasing a haunted house aspect that is not in the film. What you actually get is a little bit of a psychological thriller in that the main character has a few screws loose. Unfortunately, that story doesn't even hold up. And I think the bean counters somehow thought, we could maybe sell it as a horror film with a haunted house and some ghosts. Maybe people will show up for that. Wrong! So, first of all, we're focusing on Will. And he is a guy who I think is an editor at some kind of book publisher, maybe newspaper. They call him an editor. Not a lot of light is shown on this, okay? So, he's taking this severance package. He's quitting the job, and he's going to go live in his dream house that his family's already located at, and I guess his wife is fixing it up. Interesting thing here is that he gets there, and the family, everybody's cool, but immediately it doesn't take very much time for you to think that something is up here, because one, the family never leaves the house. Do you have kids that say, hey, let's go to Toys R Us, or let's go get ice cream? Yeah? What's with these kids? It's almost like they're the kids from like The Others, and they're like afraid of sunlight just about. They never want to go anywhere. The wife doesn't go and do stuff. She's like locked down like she's Muslim. So I thought that was pretty weird. Then you also have Elias, Casey Jones from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films. He's on the train that Daniel Craig takes to go home, and he says, hey, and that's about it. Someone recognizable does not have one forgettable lame line in a movie, okay? They're going to show up, they're going to play a role later. And of course he does. Now, as they're sitting around at the house, they get one boo scare as some clothes on a clothesline come whooshing by the window. That's played up in the trailer like, hey, there's going to be lots of scares in this movie. Here's a scare, expect more of them. So you're seeing this in the TV spots and you're thinking the same kind of thing, right? Doesn't happen. In fact, the freaky nature of the house is only shown in what looks like a dream sequence from Craig's perspective. As he lives in the house, he notices that people treat him weird. Everybody's giving him the old stink eye as he's outside, and people don't want to talk to him. People are afraid of him. He's got teenagers going down into his basement conducting voodoo ceremonies and devil worship. Not exactly, but anyways, things are not normal, and he's got these weird markings around in the basement and all this stuff, and he comes to find out that, of course, his wife and his kids are dead. This is giving away in the trailer, okay? Unfortunately, as he discovers this and he finds out how they died, he realizes that he's, I believe his name's Martin or something. Unfortunately, as he discovers this, he also comes to another conclusion that is shown in the trailer. That he's the killer, or the guy convicted, the guy who got shot by his own wife, killing his family. And he was put in this mental hospital after the crime for 5 years. Those 5 years was his time as the editor that he perceived as being the editor of this publisher, newspaper, whatever. The people he sees over at his old office, those are the people from the mental ward. And that's kind of interesting, because I thought, well, how's he going to be having this job and actually been locked up? So, of course, it's playing around his head. I mean, it's not the most clever thing ever, but at least that's somehow resolved. However, the fact they bring this up in the trailer, and it's the turning point of the movie, the point at which you have to look back at everything you just saw and question it, and the audience already knows that's going to happen for like an hour, so you're wasting a lot of time here. The bean counters and the artists could not get together on how this movie was going to be presented to the public, and they really screwed each other. So, moving along, he spent these 5 years at the publisher/prison mental ward place. The newspaper clippings that he finds indicate that the killer was released to a halfway house, and he's got some of his stuff there. So what was the halfway house? Was that like his vision of the train ride? I don't know. It's really not brought up. Was he at the halfway house for all of a day and then he walked off and was released? I don't know. And even if you want to say that the marketing messed the film up, you have to acknowledge that if the entire town is transfixed on one guy's murder, his killing spree, then surely they're going to recognize him, right? The cops don't even recognize him. No one is telling him, hey, you're not who you think you are. You know, heck, Naomi Watts, who has no business being in this movie, she could be in much better things. She's like, yeah, well, I didn't want to tell you because you seem so peaceful. Like, pretty much. She plays a role in this in that she was supposed to get murdered by her husband. Her husband hired a hitman. Casey Jones, of course, a.k.a. the worst hitman in the history of cinema. Naomi Watts is blonde. Rachel Weisz is a brunette. He goes and he sees Rachel Weisz and he's like, yep, that must be the house. He goes to the wrong house. He goes across the street, kills the wrong family. He's supposed to just kill Naomi Watts, who has completely different hair color. Of course, if Naomi Watts' husband suspected her of cheating and hired a freaking hitman to take care of business, he probably would have said, hey, here's a picture. Let me show you what she looks like. You know, don't keep that necessarily. But I do want to indicate that she's blonde. Oh man, it's just painful. And then he actually shows up at the end and helps try to off Daniel Craig, who now realizes that he's not the actual killer, that he got his brain messed up a little bit, sure, but he's no killer. And the problem with this is, this husband, he was in the clear. No one thought he did anything. You got this weird guy living in the house that Daniel Craig's having a little bit of a feud with. You do not have to actually intervene and be like the Bond villain and be like, yep, now I got you where I want you, buddy. So, that's killer fail right there. So the whole movie just goes up in flames like the house. And even though it burns down, of course, you got a little bit of a resolution here with Rachel Weisz and the kids. Oh, you need to get out of the house, it's burning. Slow burning house, I guess. I suppose in Hollywood, houses don't smoke. Craig gets out of the place and he resumes writing his book, Dream House. And this is the crappiest epilogue thing I've come across in quite some time. I mean, he's walking down the street, he looks through a window, he sees these big posters and books in the window with his face, like, yep, I capitalized on my kids and wife's murder, wrote a book about it, fascinating stuff. It's just plain awful. The director of this movie has made some really good films, like My Left Foot, In the Name of the Father. That's why in my review, I said that he should have to follow this up with Daniel Day-Lewis. My mom actually calls Daniel Day-Lewis Daniel J. Craig, so she screwed me up. Jim Sheridan should have to follow this up with Daniel Day-Lewis films to like somehow redeem it, or redeem himself, redeem something. Daniel Craig, this guy has limited range, alright? And I'll tell you why he's not a good actor. I remember seeing him when one of the James Bond films was out. It was probably Quantum of Solace. He is on Jay Leno, and he mentioned that there was some goofy gig he could have done I think it was like in Australia for some kind of commercial where he had to mow the lawn and sing or something goofy. And he walked off and said that it would completely ruin his mystique, okay? Like, talented actors are not afraid to put themselves out there and do something that could get made fun of. Like, you have to be really prepared to not care what people think about you. You have to be goofy. You have to have freedom to express the roles. And if he's going to limit himself to only real serious things and always come across like some kind of psychopath, regardless of the situation, then yeah, Daniel Craig is one limited actor. And that's all I got to say about that. So as you can see, movies about alleged psychopath killers who get parole in 5 years are not very good. I do have a couple of other announcements I want to get to. My friend Annette Lawless and I are going to team up to do a podcast about TV. We're going to be watching TV shows, which we seem to be doing a lot of already, and then talking about them. We're going to talk about situations on TV, what works, what doesn't work, try to look at the stuff from the perspective of different people, the actors, network presidents, writers, all kinds of things. We don't have a title fixed yet. I've proposed a title to her. If she likes it, we're going to try to get the domain and get everything rolling. And I'm going to come back to you guys and let you know all about that. In the meantime, I may have to shut down Spoiler Zone. Because though a few of you seem to be liking it, not enough people like it to keep it afloat. It's kind of like Charlie's Angels on ABC. As of this recording, it's not yet canceled, but it's expected to be like the first show out. If not a lot of people watch a show on primetime, it gets the axe because those primetime slots are so expensive, okay? They have these high dollar ad slots that they have to fill. And if the show in that slot is, not doing it for the company sponsoring it and they're pulling out, that's how they get canceled. So in a way of thinking about this, Spoiler Zone is not only not getting a lot of viewers, it's not doing a whole lot for me. I can't, because when I moved from Vaughn Fry to Legendary Badass on YouTube, I lost a lot of people who seemed to have thought that I was shutting down. So they didn't understand that the whole point of my going away video was to say, hey, shutting down this channel, come see me on this channel. They thought, oh, well, he's leaving. Good riddance, just about. So not a lot of people followed me over to my comedy channel where I'm now doing everything. So I'm rebuilding, and the problem is that the people at the top are just so high up that they grab all of the views. They're always getting the traffic, and they have systems in place over at YouTube to keep the traffic at the top echelon. The people at the bottom, even the smaller partners, are fighting to try to maintain their level. I don't gain subscribers fast enough to outpace the guys at the top. So I need your help. I need you to tell everybody when I get this podcast going, check it out, okay? I think you're going to like it because it's not entirely me. And since most people hate me anyways, that gives them something else to listen to. A non-Vaughn moment of the podcast. I also need you guys to do whatever you can to try to spread Spoiler Zone. Put the link on your Facebook. Post the videos on your Facebook. There's ways to post my videos automatically. If you want to ask me about that, I'll show you how to do it. So you can set up your Facebook to automatically broadcast my videos for you, because we all know I don't make terrible videos. Try to help me out here. I'm doing whatever I can. I'm just one guy dealing with my mom, as you could see in my last video. And I'm making some money doing this. Not a whole lot. Would like to get somewhere else, some more stuff going. So just do what you can. If you do something, you come up with some ideas for how you can maybe help me gain some exposure or whatever, or rekindle my success from my previous channel. Let me know. See ya.